crypto market took another hit in last 12 hours. We can see that 12-hour candle and what it did to the price. Now, everyone was surprised because some were really prepared to buy these lows. Now, the question you need to ask about Bitcoin on a 12-hour chart, which is extending what it had on a daily, is this. The price came back down to the same bottom, but the RSI did not. So on a 12-hour, Bitcoin is now starting to show bullish divergence. Let's now look at the daily, the 3-day, the macro to see how valid that is in those time zones. Because when you are on a daily in Bitcoin and you reduce all the noise, this is what you see. So the daily Bitcoin, if it closes in green, barely in green for this daily candle, it is showing you a confirmed bullish divergence on a daily. Now that is coming in after a long waiting time. Now go on to the 3-day candle. This is where you are watching. Okay, I'm trending down. Now usually when you trend down, you are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where will you bottom? I don't know. But if the RSI says I'm bottoming, that's a good sign. If it does. Because after this, you're going to get A, B, C, and then you will go back down the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How deep, how big, we will have to sit and watch, but this is most likely going to be the structure. The little you go to the upside to retest, the bigger the downside will be. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where the normal retail guys get to learn how to become the next top 10% of this world. Thank you for each and everyone who has been smashing those like buttons and dropping the comments in that comment section. Now watch when the price action does all these things and you guys are in the right page. That's good because you're getting to buy the lows rather than buying the top or holding your portfolio, watching it melt down heavy. Now, this is Bitcoin, which has dropped like 30%. Now, what we also have to keep in mind is the last big drop in Bitcoin was 33%. Now, compare it with the RSI region. That gives you a little bit more confidence to understand where we are now. So on a weekly perspective, Bitcoin shows you I'm getting very close to a support region, or I am at that support region. If I break this, it's done. Yeah. So last time when you reached there, that was your local low. The price dropped around 21% at that time. Yeah. Then the next time when you reach there, the price dropped 33% and it was the bottom. So now the odds in the market saying I'm going to bounce is increasing. Agreed. We didn't come down to 75,000 and still the odds are increasing. But is it confirmed with a bullish divergence on a weekly yet? No. Is it confirmed with a bullish divergence on a 3-day chart yet? No, not yet. But if you do get a bounce, because this is 10th and tomorrow morning is a 3-day candle close, which is just 24 hours from now, 22 hours from now to be precise. If you get even a micro bounce, that would kind of show you the odds of that is increasing. And in the next 3 days, it is going to confirm most likely that scenario. If that does happen, then what you're watching is this, the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And as we just explained, you will go back up to retrace. Now, what is the difference? The first bottom in here that came by 24% to the downside, whereas in this one, that's almost 29%. The drop here has been slow and consistent to the downside, whereas in this region, this time around, the drop was panic. Yeah, so you're watching panic whether on the capitulation or the retest and the rejection. Now, if you are a conservative guy like me and the Scientific Investor family, you'll put this line here and say, oh, I'm not looking at those 100Ks anymore. I'm watching this horizontal region and this trend line region. If you go back up and you fail at 93,000, the downside is going to be much bigger. That means your ABC pattern on a daily or a 3-day should be very small. You come up here on 89, get rejected. Then you go back up to 90, 92, 93 and get rejected. That means the next 1, 2, 3 phases starting. That can be a deeper wave to the downside. How deep, how fast? We'll sit and wait and watch, because you need to understand one thing, and that's, clear. For all of us, it should be clear, because the whales on the other end has been pumping in crazy things. And right now the price actually dropped big time. Just keeping all the mobile phones away from that audio interface so that there is no noise. Fine. Now, we are watching through all of this and we are understanding this is what just happened in Bitcoin. Now, comparing Bitcoin to the Bitcoin dominance gives you an idea of what we should be expecting in the altcoin market. So, in here on the daily, you still have the negative divergence. Now you're still deepening that negative divergence. You didn't invalidate that. On a 3-day, you're getting to see inverted hammer, which is good. But as of now, you still respect that negative divergence in the price action. Great. So you go on to the weekly, because the weekly chart kind of gives you a lot more bigger picture and not that big compared to the monthly. But it is good to understand this. Negative divergence on a weekly is still alive. Fine. So, is the alt market showing I'm about to reverse? 3-day, it's not yet giving you that divergence which you want. Daily, it is building bullish divergence from the bottom of Feb to this point. You're watching build up of buying strength in the alt market. And this drop to the new low, you put in the daily closes, candle closes, and you get to see this is the lowest since last year November. So if you're new in the market, you're surprised, but if you're not, you already wanted to see this and you were writing it down. Fine. Now, when the price gets rejected from the moving average on a 3-day, now you directly jump onto the weekly to see what the hell just happened on the weekly. And the weekly suggests, okay, watch, I broke below, but just like this, I need to do a retest. So if you are going to do a retest and we are going to sit here to watch if it's going to get rejected, how would it look like? It again would look like the exact same thing we saw on a daily, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, is it going to happen? Or is this bottoming in here? In both cases, we'll see the retracement and retest of this. What would that mean on the alt market? Now, that's a 20% run to the upside in the alt market scenario. But yes, some of these assets would run 40, 50, 100% based on the size. If it's a small cap, it would do much more. If it's a large cap, it would do smaller. On a monthly is where I want to bring your attention to, even though we have another 20 days for this month. If the monthly closes like this, understand we saw something like that in a lot of different assets before. So you pick up Doge and you're getting to see this one big drop, and then the price action shows you I want to go back up, but then get pushed down to the downside heavy. Fine. Now we go back. You want to see, okay, what the alt market shows you now. Can this be that one? Can this be the other side? This is where I say watch with a lot of patience. You need a ton of patience in this region. You had a lot of buying potential on the weekly here back in 24th May. The week started there. Or the week ended near March 3rd. But then the price didn't go up. But with a little bit lesser selling volume for the last weekly candle close, it pushed this much to the downside. So the momentum is basically still with the sellers. Sellers are pushing it down, down, down. Watch where the RSI is. This is the clue for you guys. Who's not on the Patreon, this is the clue. You watch this and you kind of get to see what the hell is happening in the market. First time you do this, you kind of go visit the moving average unless there is a super big reversal sign in the market with the volume coming back in. But if you don't have the volume, that's a danger zone. Now pick the total crypto market here, and this is, remember, a monthly chart. A monthly showing you this is a region where you should have your focus and attention onto. Because now it's 41 on the weekly for Bitcoin. Go back in the history and watch last 10 years, last 14 years, and learn from it. Where did you get to see all these 42 levels? And what did the price action do while that happened? So once we have a clear idea on that, we would like to look at a lot of different assets, right? So you pick, say, for example, Solana. That's a lot of hyped up project right now. And remember what we were talking about it here around $200. It should drop because it's breaking the moving average. And not only that, the trend line here does not look good. That trend line was representing something like this, which broke to the downside. Now, watch the price action there. From that call, it's down like 40%. From the negative divergence call up here, that's 50% down. Right? The first call was made here saying any bounce should be an exit. And from the local roof of 290, it's down 60%. But yeah, we got kind of around 50% in the right call. Now watch this. It dropped substantially for sure. Then you look at the base here. The base is building something like this, where the RSI went down, but the price didn't. So someone is starting to buy this asset believing it's going to bounce. So this is the pattern which you're watching. This is somewhat of a pattern which we have seen back in the history in a lot of different assets. What does that pattern do? It bounced one more time and then trap a lot of people. We just saw in the XRP as well. It come back up, trap a lot of people, and then the next move to the downside is going to be panic. This is what we have seen in the history. Now, why so, honey? Yeah, the monthly chart. Watch this. I mean, you get to see the monthly showing a negative divergence, and that doesn't happen every now and then. And if you believe and abide by monthly, you're not touching that asset. Think about this. Solana and Sui has been two assets in the market which the big accounts were selling to the retail, saying, buy this, it's great project, buy this, it's great project. Watch where it is now. They used all the tools which they had to and made sure the majority is buying so that they can sell. It's down 60% now. We have the call at this point saying it's negative divergence, guys. Think about it. It did another 50%, I believe, from there. Now 30% from there, trapping the majority. And then, boom, from there, the price action dropped. I mean, dropped heavy like this. A drop of 60% in the price action is not a small thing. Now, if you're in macro assets, you're watching a lot of things. You're looking at this. You're watching these and saying like, okay, this kind of looks very good. The price action is coming back down to this range. And it also shows you each and every time you reach here, that looks good. Yeah. So the price action showed you something good. And watch. If you're on a 3-day, you're watching this. Okay, this is the first time you're entering in the overbought region after June 2022. That is literally like 2.5 years. That's making a bottom after 2.5 years in the RSI, and the price is respecting that region. We talked about this trend line. We talked about the rising trend line, which broke in here. So you really don't know which trend line is going to be the primary support base for the next big run, but you do understand this. Okay, if the historical drop is somewhat like this in the asset, now you watch it closely, and when it reaches that region, you are adding more to that position. Average, you breach that average for the entire cycle. You go back in the history of the panic drops, that's 70%. You go back in the history of normal drops of retracement, and that's like 70%. You're like, okay, in last cycle, it abided by 70%. And even at the top, when it dropped for the primary retracement, it dropped close to it. This cycle, it's doing a 50% drop, most likely because of the institutions and the whales buying it. But on the weekly, this is what you get to see. The weekly RSI barely dropped into the overbought territory, and each and every time in the history when it dropped, it was a huge buying opportunity. Now, where is the price? Where is the RSI? This is why I said at the top, you have negative divergence in here. You may get to buy this asset 50% down. Think about it. What are we doing now? Buying when it is 50% down. Easy question to ask for yourself. Easy thing. Are you buying an asset here after the drop, substantial drop? Are you buying an asset which is here, which didn't drop? This is your average. This is your bottom. Yeah. Are you here or are you here? Same. Look at Ether. Are you here or are you here? This is what you have to do in the market. Buy low, sell high. Not that hard. But at the top, calling those structures is very hard. So now you go back into the alt market and zoom in the daily chart to see how the buyers are entering. And here we have to see the volume. Today, as of now, the buying volume is way bigger. But if that buying volume fails to push through 50% of the candle to the downside, it's not good. Yeah, you'll make some decent profit on the micro, but the macro is still showing I'm choppy. In here, I may do this kind of thing. A lot of people would panic in here and then ride back up. Now, ride back up to what level? This level. Okay, not that big. Let's delete that and put it on the right structure. You do something like this. Wooja. You come back down, most likely to this region. Daily bullish divergence, 3-day bullish divergence, weekly bullish divergence. You will have drops for all of this. Keep that in your mind and you're safe. Because after that, you get the breakout and a continuation. But you have this, another region of resistance. So once you understand the macro and the micro, this picture is going to be easy for you. You put in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you understand that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plays a lot of roles. Yeah. One way or the other, when you buy close to the bottom of the 5, you make decent profits. It's not easy, but buying when the price is down like 50%, it gives you an odds, increased odds in the market saying, okay, I'm making good decision right now. And if you are getting to buy an asset close to its macro trend line, not perfect, this is not the absolute bottom. Now, you guys know, we don't try to get the absolute peak. Yeah, same, we don't try to get the absolute bottom. Anything in between, I'm happy. That's not a small movement in the market, right? And when you get to absorb those, yeah, that's where you make the decent money with the minimized and adjusted risk. Now, when the market starts bouncing back up, trending back up, yeah, this is where you want to try trading. Maybe 5% of your portfolio. Last time in here, we did exactly that. We did great till this point. And during the reversal of that trend, I got slapped in the short-term bag. But as it was 5% and then it grew to 25%, it was still okay. It got hit hard. I took some out. So the capital and some of the profits were out. The majority got slapped. Yeah. Now, this is the time where you look at the market and ask, okay, are you building a bullish divergence? Yeah, you get to see this. So anything and everything which is developing in the market will be posted here in the Scientific Investor family. If you were thankful to take the profits at $108,000 to $105,000 in Bitcoin, smash the like button. If you took profits in XRP at 2.93, 3.27 in XRP, smash the like button and leave some comments so others know this guy is not talking rubbish. It's the reality. 1,600 plus members readily in here is taking benefit of whatever I post. You're watching all of this, understanding the importance of those charts. This is why we are in the Scientific Investor family. I'll meet you guys in the next video. Bye for now.